everyone. In this video, I'll be showcasing a cake build I made in the practice server on Townstar Godot. There are some disclaimers I need to clarify because, yes, there's issues in the current practice server of Townstar Godot, so I did have to make some adjustments. First is there is an ocean edge and a mountain edge, but they do not work in the practice server at the moment. And the ocean edge is very important for a cake build because you want passive salty for the salt fields in order to craft brine at the fastest craft timer of 30 seconds. Now, I did somewhat remedy this by placing down an NFT that would give passive salty. This way I could have 4 salt fields crafting brine at 30 seconds. I do have 1 salt field here crafting brine every 1.5 minutes. And unfortunately, this salt field is not affected, so it still crafts it at the slowest craft timer of 3 minutes. Also, the colors on the craft timers are backwards right now. So the red ones for the salt fields are actually crafting it faster. The green ones crafting it the slowest. Just some inconsistencies there. Other than this NFT that I had to place down, this is a no NFT build. I can't call it that because I am using this to remedy the issue of the passive salty. But other than this NFT, it is no NFTs used anywhere else. Also, this does kind of affect the build negatively because it is slowing down some of these crops right here. But even so, the build will work just fine. Okay, next thing is the wages. At the moment, in the current version of Townstar Godot in the practice server, there are a couple issues, and one of those is the wages. The wages are actually doubled. So the wage is actually supposed to be 14,000 per minute, not 28,000 per minute. Fortunately, this build is still cash positive despite the high wages. So I left it running for about 14 hours now, and I've still been accumulating cash. I've still been profiting. So don't worry about this build being cash negative. It's still a successful build. Next issue is the production monitor. There's a lot of inconsistencies here. Most of these production rates are wrong. For example, the butter. Every time the bakery turns out a butter, sometimes it counts it as 2 or 3 butter. Probably because I have 3 bakeries. That's an issue I noticed, and it's been reported. But yeah, production rates are not correct except for the cake rate. I can vouch for the cake rate. That one has to be correct. I've been running this for about 14 hours. I only have 1 cakery making cake. So every time a cake gets produced, the rate goes up by 1. As you can see right here, it's about to finish crafting a cake. I have 111 gathered and it's now 112. So I can vouch for the cake rate. The cake rate is correct. And with that out of the way, I'll explain the build. This cake build is doing about 8.3 cakes per hour. It should probably be able to do more if all the salt fields had the fastest craft timer. I believe it should push up to 9 cakes per hour. But for now, I will call it an 8 cake per hour build with no NFTs required. So starting off is the crops. I have bunch of trees here, 5 sugarcane fields for the sugarcane, 3 wheat fields for the wheat, and 6 salt fields for the brine. They're just different timers. They will all go into this silo right here, and they're all collected by the tractors. Got 9 tractors, and I have tons of windmills. When it's a cake build, there's a lot of windmills involved. The windmills are all crafting sugar, flour, and salt. So the following windmills are crafting sugar. It's 14 windmills, all the ones right here, and then 2 over here. The following windmills are crafting flour. It is a total of 14 windmills, all the ones in this section and the 2 over here. The following windmills are crafting salt, and it's a total of 10 windmills right there. So that gives me the sugar, flour, and salt that is used to craft the other products. So there are 3 bakeries crafting butter, and there are 3 cakeries. 2 cakeries are crafting batter, and 1 cakery is crafting cake. There are the 2 storehouses to store all the products in, I've not had any issues with the silo or the storehouses being jammed, and I do have auto sell set up in a way to prevent that. There are other things that are being produced. This is the farm area or the livestock area. So there are a total of 6 milk barns and 2 chicken coops, and plenty of meadows all around. You can see all these products are being collected by the ATVs. There are a total of 4 ATVs. And yeah, they get stored in the storehouse and they're used to craft butter and batter as well. So that explains the cake production. Other things that I need to explain is the loggers. They are in charge of cutting the trees to get the wood and delivering it to the windmills. Probably more loggers than required, although it could also be just because these tree farms are being negatively impacted by this NFT, which this NFT isn't actually supposed to do that. It's just another bug that will get fixed eventually. But the industrial area. The industrial area, it has your standard layout, I want to say. A pond, 2 water pumps. In front of the water pumps, you got power plants. In between that, you have your refinery crafting gasoline. To the side, you have your refinery crafting petroleum. Near that, you have a lumber mill, which you would not need in the end build. The lumber mill is just used to craft lumber to build some of these buildings. In the end, once the build is done, you could actually get rid of the lumber mill. But I left it there. I also left the lumber yard there. You could also get rid of the lumber yard in the end. But yeah, I've just left it there. This could be replaced with another windmill crafting salt. Total of 4 oil pumps that gives all the crude oil necessary to craft enough gasoline. And then you got your fuel storage here nearby, near the refinery crafting petroleum, and your worker to pick up the crude oil. To the side over here, just 2 builder houses. Now the top right, I suppose I do have an NFT placed. It's the express depot to sell your items with. This just as well could have been a trade depot. There wouldn't have been a difference. I guess I just didn't build the regular depot. I just left the express one there. But it is the same thing. It is the same thing. Express depot just sells faster. But in the current practice server, they all sell at the same speed. One thing, if you do have the ocean on this edge, you really don't actually need this pond right here. The water pumps would just connect to the ocean. So this pond actually is not necessary. It could be removed and replaced with, say, another builder. That's only if you have your gasoline set up next to the ocean like this. So that is one adjustment that could be made there. But that is the entire build explained. There are some decorations. Town Sir Godot does support decorations. You got a couple picnic benches, sunflowers, regular benches, scarecrows, hay bales. Oh, and hay bale stacks. What do they do? Oh, and you got some bushes. So what do? They don't do anything. They're just decorations. They just make the town look nice. Perhaps they'll do something in the future, but at the moment, just decorations. And that is it. So the reason I made this is to give some people inspiration in case you ever want to make a cake build. This could help you out. Once again, 8 cakes per hour, not too bad. Could do better, but for some new players out there, I'm sure this is going to be a lot of help. And yeah, this can always be tweaked and improved. Almost forgot, but one more thing I need to show off is the auto sell. So I'll go to settings, customize auto sell. Auto sell does work a little differently, so you would type in the amount that you wanted to sell at. So for wheat, if I put sell amount at 15, as soon as you get 15 wheat, it will sell 10 or however many amounts that my highest trade can handle. So if I had a freight pier and I put sell at amount 100, it would sell 100 with the freight pier and not with any other vehicle. Hopefully that explains that. But auto sell, I do have just about everything. I have eggs, sugar, flour, cake, of course, milk. The crops I have at 15, so brine, sugarcane, and wheat. Hopefully you enjoyed this showcase. If you did, feel free to like the video, consider leaving a comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I appreciate your support. Thank you for watching.